Okay, I'll tell you what it is, John. I've just realised I've switched to 10 hertz resolution, but there isn't 10 hertz on this radio, like on the display. So when you switch it to 10 hertz, you can move the VFO quite some distance without any numbers changing, and I think that's what it was. So I've switched it to 100 hertz, and hopefully I'm on frequency now. But yeah, it is an aftermarket microphone. The rig came without a mic, so it needed a powered mic, and I didn't have a powered mic that I could put a plug on. Every single spare microphone I had was dynamic, and I didn't want to rip one apart and start sticking, you know, electric pieces in electric condenser pieces in it, etc., and amplifiers and all of that. So I just bought one on eBay, and I got one from a reputable supplier. I've had them before, and yeah, it might be the microphone, but yeah, it's an IC-740, so it's quite old, running about 50 watts into the long wire antenna. But I just just been tuning around, had a couple of chats, and then I heard you calling and saying that you was about to switch off. So I thought, there's a man who'll give me a proper and honest report, and you have done. So I'm really pleased with that, John. Back to you.
Yeah, if they say, you know, it's readable, totally readable, it just sounds really nasally. It sounds like you've got a peck on your nose. If you could actually clean up the actual, maybe the width of audio, that may affect it. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. But looking at it now with the frequency, I put the ROT in there now, and I also did the same with resolution, and you are correct in what you're saying. So I think it might be the microphone. If you were to run a different mic, it would sound completely different. Which one would you go for, I wonder? I would probably go for a 600 ohm standard condenser mic, or a 600 ohm fifth mic. That to me would be the best option, but that's me personally. Other people might like what they can hear, but to me, I'm sorry to tell you this, it's good audio. You're spot frequency at the moment, but the modulation to me, I don't know. It's not you. It doesn't sound like you, if you know what I mean. And I've heard you on a 101ZD, I've heard you on a Icom IC-740, I've heard you on loads of radios, but the one you're on at the moment, it's a good, well, spot frequency, but the audio doesn't sound quite right.
Yeah, okay, John, no problem, mate. I really appreciate the honest opinion as well. I've turned the mic gain down slightly, but of course it might be the compression. Just looking at the compression, I don't seem to be making much of a dent, so I'm wondering, I've backed off the mic slightly. I'm wondering if that's it, because don't forget I'm using an unbranded powered microphone on an Icom. Yeah, it might be the microphone that's completely alien to this radio. It works, but you know, it's probably a compromise. You know, it's one of those microphone fits about a dozen different rigs, and yeah, well, it is what it is. I paid 120 quid for the radio, and I didn't expect it to be perfect and you know, work perfect out of the box, but it's also one that I'm probably going to have to just look at the manual and just see what's going on. John, back to you.
Okay, right, do me a favour if you can, not for migraine down a fraction, but actually if you've got a variable processor or variable compression, very slightly turn the compression up, so not for migraine back, but put your compression a little bit higher.
Hold on a minute, how's that? How's that? Does that sound a lot better? I've just realised I didn't even have the compressor turned on. Back to you.
Ah, that's better. Give me a bit more modulation. You're getting there. Turn it up a bit more.
There you go. Right, so the compression is on, and I've turned the mic gain up back to where it was, and I've noticed also my power output is both a lot more stable, and it's gone up from 50 watts to around 75-80 watts. Back to you, John.
Yeah, that's a lot better. That's a lot better. Right, now you're getting what I would call very, very good. You can actually knock the mic gain back a fraction. So what you need to do now, where your mic gain is, look at it on the calibration dial on the notches. Just knock it back 1 notch only, and give me another count from 1 to 5.
Okay, I've gone back 1 notch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back to you, John.
Okay, you can go back another, go back 1 notch further, so go back 2 notches in total.
And how does that sound? Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot.
Wow, look at that, that's beautiful. Right, now here we go. Now that's set, we can now do the compression bit of it. Right, now that's a variable, and I'm sure it is if I remember correctly. You do the same with your compression. Where's the rotary notches, and you got all the notches, go back about 1 notch. So go back between the notch it is now and the previous notch, but go halfway between the two, and give me a count from 1 to 5 again.
No, all it's got is compression on, compression off. I can't see a compression knob anywhere. As I say, I really should have A, looked at this properly, or B, got the manual out, but it's one of those manuals. I hadn't downloaded it yet. I say I only got the microphone today, so the radio I've had a week, but not really played with it until today. This is the first proper play. As I say, I had a couple of QSOs on it, but no one felt, you know, like that they needed to tell me that I had a possible audio or a frequency problem. But you know, this is what it's all about, John. This is proper. I'm just looking at the meter. I've got it set to compression, and I'm well within the ALC range. So I think, you know, I think we're pretty much there with the settings that we've got, John. Back to you.
Oh yeah, yes, lot better. Right, now you can, if you can't do that with compression, do you have process? Now compression and process are completely different, you know that, I'm sure of it. So look at your set. Is there a little button or a little, like a rotary dial or a rotary control that says the word processor?
No, it doesn't appear to have it on this radio. We've got noise blanker, we've got AGC, which I've got set to, well, I mean, that's for receive anyway. It's set on the slow side. And yeah, I think really what I need to do is just look at the manual and just double check the settings on it, John. I think we're there, almost there, but yeah, there is no processor setting, and there's no compression level adjustment as such. But of course I could be wrong. I mean, I'm looking at a couple of sliders there. It's IF shift and PBT and a notch filter. Now I'm not too sure what the PBT means. Once again, need the manual, but I wouldn't have thought that is anything to do with transmission, compression or processing. Back to you.
No. PBT, that is a bypass band.
Pass band.
How you're tuning for bypass band filtration. It's actually a filter. It's a sort of a variable filter. Right, let me see. Right, on the mic gain, turn that back about 1 notch. Turn the mic gain itself back 1 notch.
Yeah, pass band, I think it was the word you was looking for, isn't it? I'm all right with the IF shift on receive. I use that all the time to get rid of a QR Mexico. But there you go, I've gone back a notch and given you some words. Back to you.
Yeah, I think where it is now, that is the maximum I would put it. You could even go back 1 or 2 more notches, but that is now, in my opinion, 100% better than when you first keyed the mic. So it's sounding a lot better. I'm going to let you go, Mark. I've got to disappear. I will be on later this evening. If the intershare is still running, if you want a bit further of a check or you need a bit more help, give me a call. I think if I'm right, yeah, that's right, you did that video of me, didn't you? If you've done the same this evening, you play your video back and you can hear yourself. You will see the difference, but no, it's certainly sounding good there, Mark. Back to you.
Yeah, no, I have actually videoed it. Funnily enough, I'm getting quite the boy for videoing and listening to myself. Problem is, I'm listening to myself just talking to you, aren't I? I'm not listening to myself through the radio, so I needed you to video that one. But we'll save it for another day, John. But yeah, I probably did record you last time using the TS520S. But I've got another thing to talk to you about next time I speak to you, John. I'm building one of those micro SDX transceivers, but it's the official kit form from Delta Lima 2 Mike Alpha November Manuel, you know, the designer of the hardware, and Guido, he's a Dutchman, I've forgotten his call sign, but he's the designer of the software, or it's the other way round. But you know, we did a club group buy of those kits, and I bought a couple of them, funnily enough. Worked out 50 quid each for a 5-band all-mode transceiver, QRP transceiver, literally the size of a cigarette packet. So I'm in the middle of building that. I've just got the low-pass filter toroids to wind, and then I'll be ready to go on air on it. So as and when I do, John, I'll definitely be giving you a call, and you can give me some feedback on that. That will be fantastic. John, I'll let you have your evening back. Thank you very, very much for helping us out and giving me the 15 minutes of your time. It's always a pleasure to speak to you, old man, and look forward to the next time. So I wish you very best 73, and take care. Have a great evening. Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Fox, listening for that final, John.
Yeah, no worries, Mark. Enjoy doing it. You know, I like you. I like fiddling and making things and seeing if I can get it working, and you're certainly doing that. I did see a video you did of a little bit of equipment, I think. I was looking, oh, when was it? I think it may have been last week, you know, and I did sort of have a look at it, and I thought, yeah, that's the sort of thing I like doing, so congratulations. Marie, you spoke to me on the video about the 101ZD. I've actually got it in my file in front of me at the moment. I got 29 videos people have done of me, and I know I sound big-headed, but I like looking at them. I can compare my audio that way. I do it also the way we've done it just now, but I can also do it by looking back at what people have said about it, and if it's sounding good, I'm pleased. So, all right, Mark, you have a good evening. I'll be back on here later this evening if you need me. M0 Charlie, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, line for Yankee Sure Bravo, going that away. And you never know, if you are doing a video, like I say, I'll probably look at it in about half an hour or an hour or two's time. I'll see it up on YouTube. Catch you later, Mark. Have a good evening.
Yeah, cheers, mate. I'll be uploading it probably later this evening. A good video, a good technical video, this one. So I think a few people will be interested, rather than just my normal ramblings where I've just stored the video on YouTube, and if people want to watch it, that's up to them. M3YSB M0JCF, going clear. Cheers, John. Bye bye for now.
And I'll let you know later this evening what we've done. So you will be surprised, I think. Catch you later. Cheers. Have a good evening.
Bye-bye for now. QRZ, Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Fox. If anyone would like a report before I go QRT. Nothing heard. This frequency is clear for use.
On here tonight, Mark, you're wasting your time. I only had 7 out of 29 contacts. I think, you know, they're all watching the soaps in the evening. Catch you later.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, good luck and bye-bye for now.
What was that? station set. What did you say?
I'll break the jump.
No, still can't hear you. You're going too quickly. We are English, don't forget. We speak slowly. We don't rush. We'll catch you later. Maybe have a good evening.
Mike 3 Yankee Sugar Baker, Mike India 5 Hotel, India Lima.
Yeah, I was pulling your leg, Brian. No, lovely to hear you. 59 plus 30 there, Brian. You're sounding good.
Yeah, John, just a quick holler. I know I spoke to you this morning. A very good evening. Big signal this evening, John, compared to the day. You're 5, 9 and 30. 59 plus 30. QSL.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Well, like I said to everybody, watch this space and I'll let everybody know what I'm doing with the aerial. I'm actually making it slightly bigger. So, catch you later then, Brian. If you're running that out, I'll give you a call and I'll let you know what we're doing. Cheers for now.
Okay, John, enjoy the evening. And we'll speak soon. Mike 3 Yankee Sugar Bravo, MI5 Hotel, India Lima. Cheers for now.
Yeah, catch you later. And just to give you a hint of what we're doing, I'm adding an extra couple of elements. Catch you later. Cheerio. Bye-bye.
Cheers, John. Look forward to hearing you. Bye-bye.
Mike India 5, Hotel India Lima, Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot.
Yes, Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Foxtrot, correct?
Yeah, correct, Brian. A very good evening. My name is Mark, Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo, and I'm in Sidcup in Kent, down there in the southeast of England. And yeah, I've just spent 15 minutes with John just sorting out the audio levels for transmission on this radio. And while I've got your attention, just wondered if I could be cheeky and get a report off of you as well. You're 5 and 9 plus 20 to me. A superb signal. Back to you.
QSL, Mike 0, Juliet Charlie Fox, MI5HIL Company. I think John might still be by the frequency. Okay, just give him another wee holler there and just repeat the name. I think it's Mark. Mark, just give him another over and we'll give you a report on your signal and audio. QSL.
Oh, QSL, Brian, and very much appreciated. Okay, the name's Mark, Mike Alpha Romeo Kilo. The QTH is Sidcup in Kent, home of G6 INU. Before you ask me, yes, I do know him. Everyone asks me when I say Sidcup, do I know Doug? And yeah, I've spoke to Doug hundreds of times. And the radio I'm using, Brian, is a silent key buy. It's an Icom IC-740, running about 75 watts at the moment into a long wire antenna. It's 90 feet long, about 25 feet above the ground. And as I say, I came on earlier. I had a couple of QSOs and all I got, was basic reports back. And then when I started talking to John, he delves right into it. He was telling me all sorts of things that was wrong with it. And we spent a good sort of 10 minutes or so setting up the audio levels, etc. Bearing in mind, I haven't even read the manual on this particular radio yet, so it wasn't a great surprise. I never had no compression in, mic gain was too high, it was all over the place. I hope that's long enough over for you, John, to get to grips with. Back to you, MI5HIL M0 JCF.
Charlie Fox, MI5HIL. Okay, Mark, right. Big signal, 9 and 20, 9 plus 20 over. Regarding the audio, it's, how could I say, it's fair, good, readable audio, but there's just, to me, it's just not 100%. I did try adjusting a few things there while you were speaking with the rip up and down and things. At times it seemed better and other times it didn't. So I wonder, is that the original microphone? I'm not sure what came on the 740, if it was a Mic Hotel 12 or a 15. I'm not sure, or maybe just the standard 36. But what microphone is that you're using there, Mark? Over?
Okay, and I think here is the problem, Brian. The radio came without a microphone, so it needed a powered one. And of all the microphones I've got, they're all sort of 600 ohms unpowered, you know, like they're Yaesu mics, stock old CB type mics, that sort of thing. So I just bought a generic one on eBay, a powered microphone from eBay. It arrived today, hence this is the first day that I'm using this radio. And I'll tell you the name of the company. It's a Technofix. Now, I've bought their microphones before and never had a problem, but I think it might be, it's, you know, it's probably the electric insert that's probably the issue. Is it sounded maybe a bit wispy, bit weedy, that sort of thing, a bit trebly? Back to you.
Don't get me wrong, your audio is nice and loud, but it just wouldn't be sharp. You know, it would have the characteristics of as if you think you were slightly off the frequency, but I don't think you're really that far away, to tell you the truth. The 740, yeah, an electric microphone you would need for that. Tell me, are you talking fairly close to that microphone? If you could come back off a wee bit just to hear it, Mark, over.
Okay, I'm slightly backed off the microphone now. I do tend to shout, that is an issue, and I do tend to hold the microphone as you would an old telephone handset, so slightly to one side of my mouth. And of course, because I've got lots of different radios, Brian, sort of they all have different characteristics and different ways you speak into the mic. Like my TS520S, which uses an old Pi microphone, I need to hold it at a very specific distance and a very specific angle to get the best modulation, but then you get great Kenwood modulation, you get a great Kenwood sound. So I think what it is I need to you know, to really sort of change my habits when I use this particular radio. So anyway, I've got the microphone now. He's backed off about 6 inches away from my gob. I'm just wondering how that sounds. Back to you.
Mike 0, Julia Charlie Fox, Mike India 5, Hotel India Lima. Yeah, don't sound too bad. I've got you up about 0.2 there. I find it just a wee bit better for myself, but don't quote me on that one. The 740, I used to have one, or was it a 745? Tell me, when you change the frequencies, you know, the bands on that machine, does it chatter? Does it do a lot of chattering over?
No, that's the 720 Alpha, wasn't it? That was the earlier one. That was a slightly bigger model, and I don't believe it had FM as standard. It had RTTY and sidebands. I know that I had one of those, but my one had been modified. The rotary relay had been removed and it had been replaced with solid state stuff. So when you change bands, there was none of that chattering. It was a very, very faint clicking. So it's just a weird state of affairs. So that was the 720 Alpha. I mean, I don't know if Icom made other radios with the rotary relay in it, but I'm not too sure, mate. But no, this one's about as quiet as it comes when you change bands, etc. Back to you.
Was a great machine, 761 and what have you. But I take it, are you running there with the processor on at the moment?
Well, there's no processor, it's just compression. So I've got the compression in and the mic gain at about, I would say, about 40%. Back to you. Okay, with the compression off, it drops my power to about 50 watts, and obviously I'm not seeing any movement on the meter when it's on the compression reading. But yeah, how does that sound? Back to you.
Yeah, I brought the times there, so it's still working. You could maybe just give me another overwatch off that, Mark, over.
Okay, well this once again with the compression off and running about 50-60 watts I suppose on the louder portions of my voice, 60 watts, but it's averaging out about 50 watts. But yeah, I mean there wouldn't be much difference in signal between 50 and 75 watts anyway, as we know. But yeah, I think that's a long enough over for you, Brian. Back to you.
Yeah, audio's good there. It wouldn't be just quite as driven, obviously, but still I would be getting you slightly on the rip there, up a bit, not very much, considering all the age of that radio and what have you, Mark. I wasn't too worried. It's definitely doing a quarter trip. I know the band conditions haven't been very good today. I was speaking to John earlier, and it was all over the place there. I think he was giving me dual path at one time, but good signal there. And I hope you're still getting me okay. I'm working on Icom 7300 here this evening, and the antenna is 40-meter double bazooka there, about 100 watts QSL.
Yeah, QSL, Brian. Yeah, I'll tell you what, you've been rock solid throughout. 5 and 9 plus 20, an absolutely stonking signal for 100 watts. And you say a double bazooka. I mean, I know what the bazooka is, but I haven't seen a double bazooka. So would that be, I'm trying to think, a bazooka is like a sleeved design, isn't it? I'm not sure if it was a quarter wave. Is that like a double quarter wave or a double coaxial quarter wave? Explain the methodology and what the double bazooka does there, Brian. Back to you.
Okay, John, well, I just made it up there the last few days, and it's only put up in there yesterday. So it's really a dipole, coax dipole there. That's the best way for me to describe it. And so far it seems to be working fairly good. It's made out of RG58 military spec, and it's short up at the ends there. And it makes it fairly broadband right across 40 there. You know, it would be very, very low for the SWR right across the whole band there, from about 7 up to 7.2 and beyond. It would hardly go above maybe 1.2. So it's up about 35 feet at the moment, fairly flat top. And I say it's really only under test here at the moment, but I must say so far so good. It seems to be working well. I had a double it up before, which I still have, and it was fed with 450 ladder line. Obviously it was a multi-band there. So I just like trying different things. So with that signal, I'm happy enough for Mark. Over.
Yeah, cheers, Brian. MI5HIL M0JCF. No, that sounds superb. I was trying to picture it in my head. I knew what the bazooka was, but I'd never ever come across a double bazooka. And I was trying to find out how would that work. I imagined a dipole of such, but still couldn't picture it in my head. But it's working extremely well. As I say, it's a rock solid, stable signal from you. No problems whatsoever. Somebody was tuning up either very close by or right on top of us, so I don't know if someone else was tuning up ready to pounce. But no, it sounds lovely, mate. I'm very, very lazy when it comes to HF antennas. I've said this to quite a few people. I've got a long wire, not because I'm a fan of long wires, etc., but because since 1974, when I built my first crystal set, I've always had some sort of wire antenna up, you know, for receiving. And then as I got into TRF designs and regens, I mean, I really do love regenerative receivers, and I love designing them, building them, pulling them apart and designing them again. And I've done that for like the best part of 50 years. So there's always been a long wire antenna. And when I got my license in 2017, of course, I've got a long wire antenna up. It'd been up there for years. and I'd just put a 9-to-1 unan on it, bunged an earth rod in the ground nearby, and that's how it ended up, you know. So I'm very lazy. I mean, I've got all sorts of wire antennas around me here in the garage. I've got like G5RV, and I've got lots of traps to make a trapped dipole. That was going to be my next one. I've got traps for 80, 40, 20 and 15 meters, and I was going to make myself a nice long trapped dipole, but as I say, I'm lazy and that's half the problem. My 2-meter beam, I've got a 9-element LFA, and that's been lowered since all the wind we had several months back, you know. I haven't even put that thing back up, so you get the idea, Brian. I'm more into radio construction, etc. At the moment, we've done a club buy. I belong to the Cray Valley Radio Society, and we did a club buy of the true micro SDX 5-band HF transceiver kit from DL2 MAN Manuel. And we bought these kits. I think we bought 30 of them to keep the costs down, and I'm building one of those at the moment, and they literally are the size of a cigarette packet. That's how small they are. They're obviously a QRP transceiver, but they're all mode, and SDR is the receive side, and the output is Class E. So it's a Class E transmitter running about 5 or 6 watts with about 80% efficiency. So you get the idea there. So at the moment, I started building that just 2 days ago, and I'll hopefully have it finished this weekend. But that's where I'm at when it comes to a ham radio, really, Brian. Is I like designing and constructing my own receivers, and but I also like constructing and soldering and building and designing other equipment and transmitters, especially AM transmitters for sort of top band 80 meters, that sort of thing. That's where my interest lies. Antennas, no, very, very lazy. Back to you there, Brian. MI5HIL M0JCF.
To their own. You sign this up here, you're enjoying the hobby.
That's the great thing about this hobby. There's not many avenues to go down, and as it goes along, there's always things to add there. So we'll keep up the good work anyway. I've just been listening. I think that radio's starting to settle down. I wonder, has that radio been used much in the past? I know you said you got it there as lifting there from a silent key seal there, so it really does come up there well. You're still 5 and 9 plus, so the long wire with the 9-to-1 is definitely still doing the trick, because I think I hear someone tuning up there, as you say. I don't know what that's about when we're having a conversation. They're tuning, you know, so that seems to be the way of it there. You still getting a copy? Mike 0J Charlie Fox MI5 Hotel India Lima. Back to you, Mark.
Yeah, MI5HIL M0JCF are returning. Do you know what? You're over 20 sometimes, Brian, so I'm definitely getting you, mate. I don't think you've dropped below plus 10, and I'd say that time you was just nudging plus 25, if there was such a number on this radio. It goes up to plus 60, but of course everything between plus 20 and plus 60 is just little graduations, and yeah, just the sort of, you've got to look dead on and slow the AGC down, etc. But yeah, you're definitely over 20, so it's an absolutely stonking signal from you. Anyway, listen, Brian, I really do appreciate this fantastic conversation we've had, and once again, like John, you've given me lots and lots of pointers and something to think about. The radio itself is so much more stable now that I've sorted out the compression and the mic gain, etc. I'm not running off the internal power supply. I'm running off a SIMP, so you know, a switch mode power supply, which I modified from an HP server. It's actually a 90 amp, and it's running 13.5 volts at the moment. When I started it up, it was at 13.7. So I have modified it, and I've got variable voltage control, etc. But I was also trying that out as well. But you know, these I've got a couple of these power supplies I've been using for years now, and they just don't let you down. I have got linear supplies, but they're all in my loft at the moment. I've got other equipment up there, like my TS590S and a few other radios up there. So that's running off a big linear supply up there. So in the garage, I run all sorts of either internal power supplies or, as I say, modified server power supplies. But I'm going to go QRT now. I want to get myself back indoors. I just see the time coming up towards 9 o'clock. Well, what's the time? Actually, no, it's just gone 8:30, hasn't it? So I lied. But no, I'm going to get myself indoors now, sit down with my wife and watch some drivel on the TV, I suppose. But I really do appreciate this testing that you and John have given me. It's you know, it's the best way to find out what's happening at the other end, is to actually talk to someone and get some feedback. As I say, I had a couple of inter-G calls earlier, and I had a chat with a bloke called Albinus in Lithuania, Lima Yankee 3 Quebec. You may well have spoken to him this evening. He seemed to be on for quite some time CQing, but you know, no one gave me the feedback until I spoke to John. And John, being John, you know, he can talk the ears off a donkey, and he was giving me some really good feedback on the settings. As I say, the other thing, of course, I should do is every time I get one of these radios, I get myself a manual. I normally get it from my mate Don Load off the internet, and you know, print it off and start making notes all over it. But I haven't done it for this one. So I picked the radio up last week minus the microphone, but I tell you what, Brian, it is really clean. I'd say to coin a phrase, it's mint. You know, it's not a mark on it. It is absolutely beautiful. It just didn't have the microphone, and you know, I paid £120 for it. So there you go. You know, I've got me 120 quid's use out of it just today alone. So I'll use it for a while and see how we go from there. But you know, I'm surrounded by old radios here in the garage, and most of them, well, in fact, they're all analog except for this one I'm using. All the rest of them are all analog. None of them have got digital displays or anything. But there you go. Anyway, look, I'm rambling on, and I'm meant to be saying goodbye, so I'll hand it back to you for a final, Brian. Really appreciate you, as I say. I know you jumped in to have a word with John, and I really appreciate you taking the time to have a chat with me and actually get something sorted, or at least get on the pathway to it being sorted. So very best 73 to you, mate. Take care. Have a great evening. Sorry if I do ramble on the way I have with my long overs, but back to you, MI5HIL M0JCF. Cheers, mate, and take care.
Masterpiece to look up there and take the lids off and see the whole workings there with the drives and the cogs and the chains and what have you. So we'll let you shoot there, and hopefully I'll hear you about the band again. But good luck with the radio, and I wish you many contacts on it. Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Fox MI5 Hotel India Lima. Good luck, Mark. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and enjoy the chat. 73 for now.
So yeah, 73, mate, and bye-bye for now. Mike 0 Juliet Charlie Foxtrot going QRT. This frequency's clear for use, unless, of course, Brian, you're taking it over. Bye-bye for now, old chap.
G1 SSL, was it? Sorry, go.
Yeah, Germany 1, Sugar, London.
Oh, G1 Sugar London. I think he's over in Oxfordshire. That's not a bad short skip distance either.